Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about some of the more common lies a narcissistic person might tell when you call them out on their behaviour. There are many a lie a narcissist will tell, and it's often done to distract you from the truth, to get their needs met, to get their own way, to get out of taking responsibility for something so that they don't have to face the consequences for their actions, and if at all possible, so that they can pass responsibility over to you so that you blame, question and doubt yourself and work harder to change who you are to please them while they continue to exploit you. When you call a narcissist out on their behaviour, it's usually to gain a two-way conversation, to get some form of communication off the ground, to find the middle ground, find a compromise, find some mutual understanding of each other's needs, gain some validation of your experience, recognize that they feel remorseful and they made a mistake and it will not happen again, to resolve issues. Many things that a narcissist simply doesn't want to do. A narcissist wants to create issues and then blame you for the issues they created. So when a narcissist promises you something in the present moment, the narcissist future faking, when they promise you something in the future to get their needs met in the present or to distract you from what they've done to you in the present, and then when that future hits and that promise isn't delivered and you call them out on it, you say, oh, you said we would do this, a narcissist is going to turn around to you and say, I never said that. You must be imagining things. To distract you from the fact that they promised to do something with you, they failed to deliver on that promise, and then blame you for imagining things that you know full well that they said, but they're going to claim they never said that, to get you to question and doubt yourself and not them. A narcissist might come at you and say, I don't want to argue with you, when they do want to argue with you. If they can't shut you down with those I never said that, they're going to provoke an argument with you. They're going to bait some form of reaction from you so that they can blame your reactions to their actions to distract you from their actions, and then they're going to blame you for causing the argument, so that in the long run, you feel like you can't approach them about things. You feel like you can't discuss things with them because it's going to kick off into an almighty argument, which you're going to get blamed for. And then once that argument's occurred, they're going to punish you in some way by falling silent on you or disappearing on you, so that you're the one left further confused and the narcissist can continue with their destructive behaviour. When a narcissist claims they don't want to argue with you, what they mean is they don't want to discuss the matter at hand. And if you're going to push the topic of conversation, they're going to accuse you of causing the argument so that they can pass all responsibility over to you. When you ask them about something they've done that you might not have witnessed, but you've been told they've done something, and you go and ask them about this, a narcissist will turn around to you and say, that never happened. And there's not much leeway or maneuver for a conversation with that. They've shut you down with, that never happened. The more you try and approach them to discuss and they've said that never happened, the more they're going to accuse you again of creating that argument. And it might be something you know full well that they did, but because that's in the history and you don't have evidence, a narcissist is just going to blatantly lie and say that never happened, to frustrate you, to cause that anger and resentment within you, to get you to react to them in the present moment so that they can take your reaction as leverage to use against you to punish you further. If you go and approach them to discuss your feelings, now it might be feelings from an outside situation, it might be feelings from the situation at hand with a narcissist, and they're going to turn around to you and say, I'm sorry you feel that way, when it is a lie, because they're not sorry you feel that way. They lack the empathy, they lack the compassion to care. So they're not sorry you feel that way. They're not interested in your feelings. They want to shut your feelings down, shut the conversation down, because the narcissist doesn't want to deal with it, which a narcissist will tell you to just go and deal with it. Which then when you do go and deal with something that a narcissist doesn't want you unearthing, a narcissist is then going to come at you for digging a little too deep into what they told you to deal with in the first place, that they don't want you to deal with. They just wanted to say deal with it, to shut you down, to shut you up, so that they can continue with their negative behaviour towards you or towards others. When you want to go somewhere, when you want to do something for yourself, and a narcissist does all they can to sabotage this for you, to delay things for you, to cause arguments right before you go out, to put you in that mood, to put you in that place of negativity, and you question them, you say, well, you've done this to them, which is naturally going to get someone on the defensive, because you are accusing them. Whether you are accusing someone of what they have actually done or haven't done, people do tend to get defensive. When it comes to a narcissistic person, when they feel like they're not getting their needs met by you, and they feel like you're giving your attention elsewhere and not to them, they're going to turn around and say, it's not all about you, when in actual fact it is all about you. It's all about them. It's all about compromise. It's all about mutual understanding. It's all about getting to know people for who they are. It's all about each person's individual happiness. It's all about working together with people. A narcissist wants to work against you, so they're going to say things such as, it's not all about you, to make you feel guilty for doing everyday things that create happiness within you, that create who you are as a person. They want to socially isolate you from friends and family, from hobbies, from activities, so that they're getting sole attention from you. Now, they might claim that, oh, you ought to go and meet up with that friend of yours, to seemingly come across as though they care, but then they're going to sabotage that event any way they can and find a way for blaming you for not going to see that friend of yours. Similar to when a narcissist accuses you of being too selfish or too stubborn. You're not being selfish. They aren't getting their needs met from you. There is nothing wrong with self-care, although a narcissist wants to lead you into believing there is, usually because the narcissists themselves are incredibly selfish people. When you ask them to do something with you or go somewhere with you, a narcissist that used to do things with you in the beginning, but once they've got their feet under the table no longer wants to do these things, is going to then come at you and say, after all I've done for you, to confuse you, to make you feel guilty for asking them. When if we were to truly reflect on what a narcissist has done for us, whatever they have done for us is to meet a need of their own. People tend to do for others without expectations of gratitude or thanks in return, without expectations of receiving something in return. It's nice to receive things in return, but people don't go in with the expectation of, if I do for you, you do for me. A narcissist goes in with the expectation that they do for you and you will give them something in return. And if you say no to them, they're going to come at you and try to guilt trip you and say, after all I've done for you, which is usually a lie, because they do very little for you other than hurt you, lie to you, cheat on you, cheat you out of things, confuse you, distract you, cause you pain. Or when they said they would do something and then they come at you and say, well, if you hadn't, what you did or did not do is irrelevant. They said they'd do something and then they decided not to, because usually you haven't done anything to stop them. They stopped themselves. Or when they've cheated on you and you question them, it's a case of, well, if you hadn't have looked through my phone, so you might not have even looked through their phone. You might have just seen a notification pop up and seen a message and gone, hey, what's this message? And well, if you hadn't have gone through my phone, or if you had paid me more attention, I wouldn't have needed to go elsewhere. Again, to pin the blame on you so that they don't have to take responsibility for the things they do to you. Which is like when a narcissist says, you made me do it. We can all provoke feelings within other people. We can all step out of character. However, when it comes to a narcissistic person, when they do something that perhaps is morally wrong, when they rage out at you, they will blame you. To them, you made them do it. When a narcissist baits you into that emotional reaction towards them, you usually take full responsibility for your behaviour. You usually feel bad for how you reacted. You usually then apologise to them. You usually then work harder to change yourself to suit them so that you don't react like that again. There's a big difference between people who make other people behave in certain ways, which everyone is capable of doing, and those who take responsibility for their behaviour, provoked or not, and narcissistic people who don't take responsibility for their behaviour, provoked or not. When a narcissist is flirting with somebody in front of you and you go and speak to them about this, they're going to accuse you of being jealous, which is a half-truth. They've provoked feelings of jealousy within you because you take responsibility for your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, and because you are feeling a bit jealous, you're going to then take a step back and think, yeah, perhaps I am a bit jealous, perhaps I am imagining things, perhaps they didn't mean it, which is another one. A narcissist is going to tell you that they didn't mean it when they meant it full well. They just didn't want to be called out on their behaviour. When you go and discuss your feelings with them and they accuse you of being too sensitive, you are going to feel sensitive around insensitive people. And a narcissist, if it's not about them, they're going to be as insensitive as they can. You can be going through something devastating and they will turn around and say it's not all about you and be extremely insensitive to your feelings. And when you try to discuss this with them, they're going to accuse you of being too sensitive. When they're cheating on you, you might have facts and evidence. You might just have that instinct, that intuition, and you go to discuss, to clarify your thoughts with them. They're going to accuse you of being insecure, of having trust issues. And because at that present moment in time, their behaviour is causing those trust issues within you, and you take responsibility for your behaviour, you question yourself and not them, which is a half truth, because you are going to develop trust issues around those who continue to lie to you, to continue to gaslight you, continue to distract you from the truth of the situation. And because you can recognise you've got trust issues, you focus on your trust issues and working on those and not the root cause of those issues. You're trying to discuss anything with a narcissist. If it's not going how the narcissist wants, or they want to play down their behaviour, they're going to accuse you of overreacting when your reactions are perfectly normal to the given situation at hand. We are all individuals, so we're all capable of reacting in different ways because we can have a similar experience, but how that affects us as an individual affects our reactions to a situation. Not many people like being called out, and we are all capable of making mistakes. However, when it comes to narcissistic people, they will repeatedly make mistakes, and they will repeatedly find a way to punish you if you call them out on their behaviour, to get you to stop get them out on their behaviour, so that they can continue to exploit you to get their needs met by you, because they lack the empathy to care for how their behaviour affects you. As there are quite a few lies a narcissist will tell any you heard when you called them out on their behaviour, please do add those into the comments. If you're looking for further support and understanding to help overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I shall add into the description a video on the narcissist projection, as this explains more on how a narcissist will pass their behaviour, their feelings over to you, and you end up taking responsibility for the things that they are actually doing to you. Go out there, create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.